And thank you to all of you for coming. I am really looking forward. This is for me. This is the kickoff of the festival. So I will be singing some great stories, some good chorus songs. It should be fun. It should be fun. I'm going to start off with a song called "The Ghostly Crew." So it's coming up towards Halloween. When I sing this song in Ohio, which is where we live now, I have to explain that Georges Bank and Grand Banks and Western Banks have nothing to do with money. They're the shoals, the shallow waters off the coast, where the warm waters and the currents make it great for fishing, but also great for storms. And between the three of those, Georges Bank has sort of a sinister reputation. Lots of shipwrecks happen. And so occasionally what you would expect, where there were lots of drowned sailors, is there are ghosts as well. And this is a story. So, you may smile if you've a mind to, perhaps you'll underneath. We've been boys together well on for 50 years. We sailed upon the ocean in summer's pleasant day. In the stormy winter when the howling winds did rage. I've been tossed about on George's shoals, been fishing down the bay. Down south in early summer, most anywhere we pay. I've sailed in different vessels to the western banks and Grand, likewise in herring vessels that sail to Newfoundland. And I've seen rough times, I tell you, when things looked rather blue. But somehow or another, I was lucky and got through. I'll not brag, oh no sir, I'll not say much. But then, I'm not much easier frightened than most of other men. Oh, that night, as we were sailing, we were offshore ways. I never shall forget it in all my mortal days. It was in the dark night watches. I felt a chilling dread come over me, as if I heard a calling from the dead. Then right o'er our rail came climbing, all silent, one by one, a dozen dripping sailors. I thought my time had come. Their faces, pale and sea-wet, shone ghostly through the night, and each one took a station as if he had the right. They moved about and sailed our ship till land was just in sight. Or rather, I should say, it was the lighthouse tower's light. And then those ghostly sailors moved to the rail again and vanished in an instant before us sons of men. We sailed right in the harbor, and every mother's son will tell you the same story, the same as I have done. The trip before that voyage, we were on George's then. We run down another vessel and sank her and her men. And these were the same poor fellows, I hope God rests their souls, that our old craft run under that night on George's shoals. So now you have my story, it's just the way I say. And I have believed in spirits from that time to this day. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Now, a song about impressment of sailors, forcing sailors to sea. This is one that I learned from Sheila K. Adams, who learned it from her auntie in the Appalachian Mountains of western North Carolina. It's called Haul Away, and it's got parts for you to sing on. You'll gather where. Cruel was my parents that took my love from me. Cruel was them men that come and drug him off to sea. Cruel was that little blue boat that took him from the sand. Lord, and cruel was the great big ship that took him far from land. Haul away, boys, oh, haul away. Haul away, boys, haul away. Cruel was the water, it lay so flat and still. Cruel was the wind that blowed, it never raised a rill. If it had blowed a gale and wind, they'd have left him on dry land. Lord, and I'd be a walking by him, and a holding to his hand. Now haul away, boys, now haul away. Now haul away, boys, now haul away. The ring beneath my pillow, it's the one he gave to me. I'll wear it on my finger now for all the world to see. Cruel was that captain, the parents, and them men. Lord, they never cared a nickel if I see my love again. Haul away, boys, Lord, haul away. Oh, haul away, boys, haul away. You think you can sneak in here, but you're wrong. Demerits. Okay, well, there's a lot of songs about mermaids. There's one that we learned in camp that, the ocean waves may roll. This is not that one, but it's the same story, and it's one that was collected in the mountains of Kentucky. So this is the mermaid, and you'll recognize it. If you know that ocean waves may roll in that, you'll recognize the story. Start. As I walked out one evening fair, that's not how it goes. They didn't walk because he's on the ocean. When I learned it at first, it was as I walked. And there's many, many traditional songs that start out, as I walked out one May morning. Now, this is a maritime festival. They're sailing now. We're going to try it. As we sailed out one evening fair, out of sight of land, there I saw a mermaid sitting on a rock with a comb in the grass in her hand. Combing down her long yellow hair, and her skin was like a lily so fair. Her cheeks were like two roses, and her eyes were like a star, and her voice was like a nightingale clear. This little mermaid, she sprang into the deep. The wind began for to blow. The hail and the rain were so dark in the air, we'll never see land no more. At last came down the captain of our ship, with a plumb and a line in his hand, all for to plumb the seas, my boys, to see how far it was to the rocks, or else to the sand. He plumbed him behind and he plumbed him before. The ship kept turning around. Our captain cried out, our ship it does wreck, for the mermaid is pulling us down. Come throw out your lading as fast as you can, The truth to you I'll tell. This night we all must part from our lives, to heaven or else to hell. Come all you unmarried men that's living on the land, that's living alone at your ease. Do your very best, you're living for to gain, oh, but never incline to the sea.
We have 3 seats over here.
I'm singing some mermaid songs.
Good.
Yeah. And this mermaid song does not actually come from the ocean. In fact, well, it's the Mermaid of Ontario.
Yes.
Shel Silverstein wrote it. And it takes place on Lake St. Clair, which is sort of between Lake Erie and Lake Huron. We live 10 miles south of Lake Erie, so we know about this. But this is the Mermaid of Ontario. And the end of each verse repeats, and I do hope that you'll join me on this part. Let's see. Oh, the Mermaid of Ontario had long green stringy hair-o, and a seaweed gown to wear-o, but she had no one to marry-o. She had no one to marry-o. Now the Mermaid of Ontario loved a big mouth bass named Larry-o. He lived in Lake St. Clair-o, underneath the St. Clair Ferry-o. Underneath the St. Clair Ferry-o. So the Mermaid of Ontario sent a seagull emissary-o to ask that big bass Larry-o if he'd consent to marry-o. If he'd consent to marry-o. Now, says Larry-o, my life I will not share-o. I'd rather live solitary-o, sit around in my underwear. Sit around in my underwear-o. On my dairy-o. On my dairy-o. And you're so ordinary-o, whilst I'm extraordinary-o, and I dress so debonair-o, and I have a very fine vocabulary-o. And I have a very fine vocabulary-o. Because I memorized the Fish's Dictionary-o. Because I memorized the Fish's Dictionary-o. And before I'd marry you, I'd marry-o a Guernsey cow from the dairy-o, or eat a poison berry-o, and die with Fish's dysentery-o. And die with Fish's dysentery-o. Poor Mermaid of Ontario, this was more than she could bear-o. She cried all day, then she swam away with a yuppie little guppy named Gary-o. A yuppie little guppy named Gary-o. Now they are a happy pair-o, 'cause he's a millionaire-o. On his yacht 'neath Lake St. Clair-o. They snuggle in a cozy little cherry-o. They snuggle in a cozy little cherry-o. And listen to his underwater stereo. And listen to his underwater stereo. But the big mouth bass named Larry-o wed a Guernsey cow from the dairy-o, who fed him a poison berry-o. Now he's in the Fish's cemetery. Now he's in the Fish's cemetery-o. And that's the whole scenario. I think I heard Aubrey Atwater sing that. Yeah. Wonderful. So, that's enough for me. mermaids for a while. But it's not enough women. It's not enough women.
Never.
So, I'll sing The Maid on the Shore. I know, strong woman. I love this song. It's of a bold captain that sailed the salt sea on a day that was fine, calm, and clear. A beautiful damsel chanced for to spy as she walked all alone on the shore, as she walked all alone on the shore. What would I give my bold sailors, he cried. 10 guineas I vow and declare, if you'll bring me that maiden on board of my ship. Walks all alone on the shore, that walks all alone on the shore. So the sailors, they lowered a very long boat, and straight for the shore they did steer, saying, "Ma'am, if you please, will you enter on board, and view a fine cargo of where? Oh, view a fine cargo of where?" "But I have no money," the maiden replied, "to buy any costly ware." "Don't never mind that now," the sailors replied. "We'll trust you till you get on shore. We'll trust you till you get on shore." With much persuading, they got her on board, and back to the ship they did steer. Our captain, he smiled, and he spat out his chew, saying, "Fare you well, sorrow and care. Oh, fare you well, sorrow and care." Our captain, he poured out the best of his wine. It sparkled so bright and so true. He said, "First you will lie in my arms all this night. Then I'll hand you to my crew. Oh, then I'll hand you to my crew." "Oh, thank you," this maiden replied. "That's just what I've been waiting for I've grown so weary of being a maid. As I walk all alone on the shore, as I walk all alone on the shore." Then she sat herself down in the stern of the ship. Her voice was so sweet and so clear. She sang them so sweet, so neat, so complete. She sang captain and sailors to sleep. She sang captain and sailors to sleep. Then she robbed them of silver, she robbed them of gold, she robbed them of costly ware, and our captain's broadsword she used for an oar to row herself back to the shore, to row herself back to the shore. Oh, were my men crazy, or were they all drunk? Or were they sunk deep in despair to let her get away with her beauty so gay? Don't I wish that I had her once more? Don't I wish that I had her once more? And yonder she stands all alone on the strand, waving her handkerchief fair, saying, "You're still the captain that sails the salt sea, and I'm still a maid on the shore, and I'm still a maid on the shore." You know, I've had that effect on audiences sometimes. You know, I seem so sweet, and everybody falls asleep.
Aww, then you take all their money.
That's pretty late, a little bit late. Okay, we'll move to inland waterways now with a song by George Ward, Hurrah. This is The Boatman's Cure. Rolling up the river. Pulling up the river on a three-hand boat. Too deep to carry, too shallow to float. Too deep to carry, too shallow to float. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. Best cure for the river is a bottle of rum. Best cure for the river is a bottle of rum. It's the best cure for a lot of things, and you'll catch on what it is. Working up the river, the current swung her round. Bedbugs swam ashore, poor boatman nearly got drowned. Bedbugs swam ashore, poor boatman nearly got drowned. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. Best cure for bedbugs is a bottle of rum. Best cure for bedbugs is a bottle of rum. What's next?
Frostbite?
Frostbite in November took my toes away. Devil take the black flies about the last week of. No, that's not it. Devil take the black flies about the last week of May. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. Best cure for black flies is a bottle of rum. Best cure for black flies is a bottle of rum. Sweating in the heat of day, chilling in the rain, sleeping in the open, got the ague again. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. Best cure for the ague is a bottle of rum. Best cure for the ague is a bottle of rum. Sweet Annie from Schenectady, she stole my heart. Her face is in the firelight, the river sings her part. Her face is in the firelight, the river sings her part. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. Best cure for a woman is a bottle of rum. Best cure for a woman is a bottle of rum. Now I fought all through this wilderness in '59. Still fancy I see shadows moving most of the time. Still fancy I see shadows moving most of the time. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. Best cure for shadows is a bottle of rum. Best cure for shadows is a bottle of rum. Morning comes up early for a fast bateau. It's shoulder to the setting pole, you push off and go. Shoulder to the setting pole, you push off and go. If it doesn't lift your spirits, it'll leave you numb. But there ain't no cure for living in a bottle of rum. But there ain't no cure for living in a bottle of rum. Oh. So, you all know about silkies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of those. This is a poem that Jane Yolen wrote, and Louis Collins said it 2 years ago. It's called The Ballad of the White Seal Maiden. There's a fisherman sitting alone on the land. His hands are his craft, his boat is his heart. It's a fisherman sitting alone on the land. A rock, a hard rock in his heart. There's a silky maid swimming alone in the bay. Her eyes are the seals, her heart is the sea. A silky maid swimming alone in the bay. A pure white seal maiden is she. She comes to the shore and she sheds her seal skin. She dances on sand, dances under the moon. Her hair falls in waves down upon her white skin, and only the seals hear the tune. Then Stan takes her sealskin, staking his claim to a wife from the sea. He raises his hand, holding up her white skin, and says, "Now you must come home with me." Weeping she goes, and still weeping she stays. Her hands are her craft, her babes are her heart. For a year, a year, and a year more she stays. A rock, a cold rock in her heart. Oh, what is this hid in the fisherman's bag? It smells like the ocean, feels like the sea. It's a bonny white sealskin closed up in the bag, and never a tear more, cries she. It's goodbye to the house, goodbye to the shore, goodbye to the babes that I never could claim, and I've never a thought for the man left on shore, for Silky's my nature and name. She puts on her sealskin, she dives back in the sea. The fisherman's cry falls on water deaf ears. She swims in her sealskin away out to sea, and the fisherman drowns in his tears.
I gotcha.
Yeah, you got me. Okay, good. Good, because we'll see if I have time for one or two more long songs. This one is one that Dick Swain introduced me to. It's a song that was written by Captain Pearl Nye, who was born on a houseboat on the Ohio Canal, which goes the entire north to south length of Ohio. And I think you'd have to say that Pearl Nye loved that canal with more than a natural affection, because he wrote a song about it of 140 verses with chorus about every lock and every bend, and I'll sing you 4. I think that, yes, thank you. You're welcome. I thought you'd appreciate it. But I do like it. When I learned this song when we lived in Maryland. We used to live in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. in Maryland. And I have to say, this song made me want to go to Ohio. and that's where we live now. So here is, it's got a chorus. I'll start with the chorus because it's a lengthy chorus and I never really enjoy singing it. There's naught in all creation that to this can compare. Good times, rounds of pleasure were our lot, dear pal. No other people e'er were known to have such times as we in those balmy days along the old canal. There's naught in all creation that to this can compare. Good times, rounds of pleasure were our lot, dear pal. No other people e'er were known to have such times as we in those balmy days along the old canal. There's a little silver ribbon runs across the Buckeye State. 'Tis the dearest place of all the world to me. For upon its placid surface I was born some years ago, and its beauty, grandeur, always I do see. Cleveland is the northern end, and Portsmouth is the south. And its side cuts, they are many, many pounds. And wherever we went, we took along our home, sweet home, you know. In those balmy days upon the old canal, there's naught in all creation that others can compare. Good times, rounds of pleasure were our love, dear pal. No other people ever known to have such times as we, in those balmy days upon the old canal. My dear friend was 40 feet from bank to bank, you know. 26 at bottom, depth not less than 4. 2 feet above the water line, but never more than 5. Towpath 10 feet wide, 6 inches draft, no more. Was always on the lower side of channel, outward pitch, clearance 15 feet, off 20 more, dear pal. Thus making safe our every move from whatever come. We had elbow room along the old canal. There's naught in all creation that others can compare. Good times, rounds of pleasure were our lot, dear pal. No other people ever known to have such times as we, in those balmy days along the old canal. The locks were so majestic, vine-clad overhanging trees, moss and flowers in profusion everywhere, and the sound of laughing water rippling and the tumble roar. Nature smiling, everything without a care. The birds all sang in chorus, katydids and crickets too, whippoorwills, owls, frogs, their parts all played, dear pal. And the fish in schools would jump and keep our hooks so clean and nice. It was great to be along the old canal. There's naught in all creation that others can compare. Good times, rounds of pleasure were our lot, dear pal. No other people ever known to have such times as we, in those balmy days upon the old canal. Those famous days were pleasant, and in fancy I reflect. See her boats and packets, 2,000 and more, and her shipyards, dry docks, warehouses, and many other things that were needed, all were standing on her shore. I know my love for her is true, God granted ne'er shall change, for most pleasant is her memory, oh pal. And when I check in, oh, may I rest in peace forevermore on the shore of my dear friend, the old canal. There's naught in all creation that others can compare. Good times, rounds of pleasure were our lot, dear pal. No other people ever were known to have such times as we, in those balmy days along the old canal. Oh, you guys sound so good. We're all clapping. Go ahead. No. I've got one more song for you. A great ballad. End up with a good ballad. This doesn't have a chorus, but it does have parts to join in, and you will know where they are. This is a version of The Golden Vanity, and it's called The Weeping Willow Tree. It's in the Helen Harton's Flanders collection. It was sort of brought to life by by Margaret MacArthur, but I was inspired to learn it by hearing John Roberts sing it. As we were talking about this earlier, anything that I hear John Roberts singing, I want to sing it. And this is one of those. A sailing ship was fashioned to sail the southern seas. Down in the lowlands low, she was handsome, she was tall, she was trim as trim could be. And the name of the ship was the Weeping Willow Tree. That ship built in the lowlands, low, 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 that was born to ride the waves, hi-ho. The crew of the ship were hardy seamen bold, lads from the lowlands low. Her decks were broad and wide, and white as white could be. And on her sail was printed, "O Weeping Willow Tree." That ship built in the lowlands, low, 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 that was born to ride the waves, hi-ho. That worthy ship was chosen to sail the Spanish Main, far from the lowlands low. Her captain, he was shrewd, he was also proud and vain, and he hoped by his shrewd dealings a fortune for to gain. With that ship built in the lowlands, low, 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 that was born to ride the waves, hi-ho. Now while they were sailing all on the southern seas, far from the lowlands low, they met a Spanish ship called the Royal Castelli, and they jeered at the crew of the Weeping Willow Tree. That ship built in the lowlands, low, 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 that was born to ride the waves, hi-ho. So the captain called his cabin boy, as he had done before, a lad from the lowlands low. He said, "Boy, you can swim, and your stroke is swift and sure. So that saucy Spanish ship, she will never reach the shore. You'll sink them in the ocean, low, low, low. Oh, you'll sink them in the ocean, low. In your hand you'll carry an auger and swim to her side. For we're from the lowlands low, and there you'll bore a hole. You will bore it deep and wide, for 500 pounds in gold, and to be first mate beside. You'll sink her in the ocean, low, low, low. Oh, you'll sink her in the ocean, low. So that was the end of the Royal Castelli. She sank in the ocean low, her lofty sail so high and her haughty air so free. Both were buried in the depths of the raging southern sea. She sank into the ocean, low, low, low. Oh, she sank into the ocean, low. The cabin boy exclaimed, "Sir, I now demand my fee. You rode from the lowlands low. 500 pounds in gold you now must give to me. And I also am first mate of the Weeping Willow Tree. That ship built in the lowlands, low, 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 that was born to ride the waves, hi-ho. You'll get no gold from me, boy, for causing this wreck. You thief from the lowlands low." And he took the cabin boy by the nape of the neck and threw him overboard from the Weeping Willow's deck. He threw him in the ocean, low, low, low. Oh, he threw him in the ocean, low. Ah, but he still carried the auger, as he had done before. The lad from the lowlands low. And his heart was full of vengeance, and his stroke was swift and sure. And instead of boring one hole, he bored 24 in that ship built in the lowlands, low, low, low. That was born to ride the waves, hi-ho. That worthy ship went down 200 miles from shore, far from the lowlands low. her captain and her crew, why they never reached the shore. Then the wild seemed to say, fare thee well forevermore, to that ship
Built in the lowlands, low, low, low,
that was
born to ride the waves high ho.
Ah, but one brave hardy seaman survived the raging sea. The lad from the lowlands low. He was picked up by a ship, so it has been told to me, and he told to us the tale of the weeping willow tree. That ship built in the lowlands, low, 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 that was born to ride the waves high ho.
Different stories from the same delightful human being. There are also plenty of other people who are differently delightful and sing different things in also different locations, and some in this location. So please pick up this program, look for it online, look for it on a piece of paper, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.